It's the question that has been on the minds of Spurs fans since the season ended. Is this the year that one or even two members of the Big Three call it quits? Well, last night at 10, we told you about an ESPN article that cites, of course, sources saying the Spurs expect both Tim and Manu to return next season. Now, this is the assumption that we in San Antonio have had for weeks now, but ESPN also claims the futures of free agents Danny Green and Marco Bellinelli are still both in limbo. Now, with the silver and black chasing big-name free agents like LaMarcus Aldridge and Marc Gasol, they are trying to get creative with their spending. And this source leads us to believe Green and Bellinelli could be moving on from the Alamo City very soon. Now, in addition to Tim, Marco, and Danny, the Spurs have 6 other free agents who may or may not be back in San Antonio next year. Now, the most notable name on this list is right there at the bottom, Kawhi Leonard. But guys, remember, Kawhi is a restricted free agent, meaning the Spurs will have a chance to match any offer he receives from another team. And since Coach Pop has basically said Kawhi is the future of the franchise, well, I don't expect him to be going anywhere anytime soon. We are just 2 days removed from the draft, and there is still buzz around town about the Spurs' top pick. Nikola Milutinov, the 7-footer from Serbia, is likely going to spend his next few seasons overseas. But when he does get his chance in the NBA, the Spurs front office says we can expect big things.
Good passer. An interesting thing about him is that he's got more offensive. He's a better offensive rebounder than a defensive rebounder, or a more prolific offensive rebounder. You don't see that with many people at any size. There's parts of his game that we need to develop, but they're, from where he was a year ago to now as a 20-year-old, he's come a long way.
Not only has he come a long way, the Spurs' top draft pick is already sounding like a member of the Silver and Black. Check this out. Milutinov said, quote, "I don't feel comfortable talking about myself, my qualities, or anything like that. I just play hard every day and try to do my best." Now, does that sound like a Spur to you or what? I know it does to me. He went on to say later, quote, "This is only the beginning." Now, the Spurs' first rounder came as a shock to some, but he was only one of the surprises in the draft. Now, one of the biggest wow moments came when the Knicks selected Kristaps Porzingis with the 4th overall pick. Reports today say the Knicks all-star guard Carmelo Anthony was, quote, "furious and livid" with the selection. Not sure if he was as sad as the young fan seen on camera crying and booing after the pick was announced. That was both sad and adorable. Knicks president Phil Jackson responded by saying Anthony is always on their mind, and they let the all-star guard know what they were going to do beforehand. Now we turn to the Cowboys and, of course, to Dez Bryant, whose attempt to get a new contract done before that July 15th deadline, well, it might have taken a step in the right direction. Dez's agent Tom Condon and the Dallas Cowboys had their first face-to-face meeting in nearly 4 months. Sources say this meeting took place earlier in the week, and though both sides were not able to reach a full agreement, it appears at least negotiations are in progress. Now, if a deal cannot be made, Dez is threatened to miss games, at least 1 or 2 at the beginning of the regular season, which would cost him roughly $754,000 each week he sits out. Now on to the Texans, who don't only have one of the NFL's scariest defensive lines, but they still have that guy, Arian Foster, taking handoffs in the backfield, and now they've welcomed a new crop of rookies. Rookies who are the audience for maybe the most motivational soundbite I have ever heard. So listen closely to J.J. Watt after the team's final organized team activity.
Every single day, you need to do something to make yourself better than everybody else. And that's the only way we're going to improve. We can't be satisfied with just being good. And that means when you're on your own, when you're back home, when you're doing whatever workout you're doing, you need to remember that you're part of this Texans team. You represent the city of Houston, and that you need to do every single thing that you can do to get yourself ready for training camp so that when this season comes, we're ready to hit the ground running, because that's our style. We're going to work our off to be a great football team.
If that doesn't get you ready for football season, I don't know what will. Don't forget, News 4 is your home for all the Texans preseason games and information beginning on August 15th. Hey, the Rangers were in action today. We have highlights from that game and the most embarrassing moment for Prince Fielder. It's a moment that he would like to forget. We have it on tape coming up next. Well, earlier this week, Rangers fans had a reason to chuckle as Prince Fielder showed off some of that famous athleticism. My favorite part is when he gets up and points to the stands like somebody up there had something to do with it. Nice job, Prince. All right, well, all joking aside, the Rangers are in second place in their division, and they entered the day hoping to push their record back over 500. taking on the Blue Jays, and the fans in Toronto were preparing for a rain delay with ponchos. I guess they forgot that the Rogers Center has a retractable roof. Don't worry about the rain, guys. On the field, Mitch Moreland continues his hot streak. This solo home run put the Rangers up 2-0 in the fourth. They did not take their foot off the gas. Texas would tack on 2 late runs and go on to win this one 4-0. And guys, we cannot forget about our Women's World Cup team who beat China in the quarterfinals last night. Team USA now moves on to battle Germany. That's the #1 ranked team in the world with a spot in the World Cup finals on the line.
That is going to be a great game.
It's going to be huge. They're #1, we're #2. We actually made a little history last night, though. The first Women's World Cup team to make 7 straight semifinals. I'm picking Team USA to win it all.
Hey, way to go. Kudos to them. Awesome.
USA. We'll be right back.